Hannah's Science Autobiography. Elementary school. I honestly remember very little about elementary school science. What I do remember the most about are the hands-on experiments. So, for example, growing a bean plant in second grade and creating terrariums in my 5th grade class to watch the ecosystem progress. And then in 4th grade, having a cockroach as a class pet that just kind of sparked scientific discussions in nature. In middle school, it was a little clearer. I was terrified of my teacher in 6th grade and her expectations, and we had few hands-on experiments due to behavior problems, and there was lots of notes and rote memorization that kind of took away the wonder of science. 7th and 8th grade, the majority of the class was playing catch-up, so the teacher created independent projects for the majority of my time in the class. When it came to high school, I only took as many classes as required. So I took honors chemistry, honors biology, and AP environmental science. I enjoyed the content of the classes, but when it came to attaining the grade that I was hoping for, I had a really hard time. Chemistry was the class I found the most interesting because I had a very involved teacher who showed us that a practice like chemistry that's on such a small molecular level has real-life application through experiments where he would light his hand on fire or lay on a bed of nails. And then AP Environmental Science was the prime example of how teaching science shouldn't work. We had to copy notes off the front board, and then we had the rest of our time in class as kind of free time. As far as college experiences with science, I only took 2 science courses, and both had very different approaches. I took biology for non-majors, and the lab TA and the professor were both very unenthused people. There was really no passion for the content that they were teaching. There was a lot of reading off of slides, and the hands-on experiments were not intentional in their use. They were not used to draw us in. And then physical anthropology, my professor was obviously passionate. She found ways to involve us in the material. She created coloring sheets on the evolution of mankind for us to help us remember how we progressed as humans. And the material was hard, but very interesting because I saw how interesting she saw it was. As far as my current attitude towards science, I think the content is very interesting because it involves so many aspects of life that I'm involved in. But ever since middle school, when I had those struggles of not really getting a solid foundation in science because of my teacher having to help the rest of the class catch up, I don't feel like I know enough about scientific concepts, and that really kind of shook my confidence for the rest of my scientific journey. And so overall, I'm interested by science, but I'm intimidated by the material and how to teach it. And the effect of the experiences, I really took away 4 things while I was reflecting about this. And one of them was the impact that attitude has on how your students will receive this information you're giving to them. So, my professor for physical anthropology in college, because she loved the material and she was so excited about it, I started to wonder, okay, why is she so excited about it? And I wanted to study more and get involved and understand of why it's so important. So attitude is everything. And then application matters. So how you're choosing to do experiments and hands-on activities, you want to make sure they're intentional in use so that students are getting information about what they're supposed to be learning, but they're also used to kind of draw them in and make them ask questions to gain more information. And then you want to make sure that you're challenging all your students in a very constructive way. So even though the differentiation, there is differentiation needed in the actual course, make sure that everybody is getting what they need to learn at the level that they're at. Because I felt like I was not challenged, and it kind of did me a disservice for the rest of my scientific journey in school. And then also you want to help students find the wonder. Science is all around us, and we want to get students to the point where they're asking questions and they're going home and doing research on their own, and they're seeing science around them. So we want to build a foundation that they can do that, and we want to help them see around them everywhere that there is science.